guys, it's Meg. What's up? What's poppin'? Welcome to the podcast. Every spooky season, the tales of monsters start to be shared. So let's travel to Sleepy Hollow and talk about the Headless Horseman. And we actually mentioned him briefly in a previous Spooktober season. Back in season 4, episode 8, titled Monsters, we mentioned him and a couple facts about him, but right now we're going to deep dive into who or what this monster could be. So according to History.com, the legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving from 1820 is considered one of America's first ghost stories and is heavily influenced by the Headless Horseman. But the Headless Horseman has been around since the Middle Ages, so this legend of Sleepy Hollow is actually not the first time we've seen this spirit, I guess we can call him. There have been stories from Brothers Grimm and from Dutch and Irish legends of the Dullahan or Ghansien, who is a Grim Reaper-like rider who carries his head. I definitely butchered how to say those. I am so sorry. There is actually a true story. Around Halloween in 1776, a Hessian soldier was decapitated by a cannonball during the Battle of the White Plains, and it is said that his head was left on the battlefield, but he was buried in Sleepy Hollow. Hey, what's up? It's Editing Meg, and I found 2 spots, I guess we can call it. There is a memorial in a park where the battle happened, and it's where the soldier might have died. I also found I guess we can call it a grave in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery for the Headless Horseman. And some say that Washington Irving took inspiration from that. Some say he took inspiration from Brothers Grimm or from those other legends. No one really knows how Sleepy Hollow came. But a professor at National University, Franz Potter, because every being, monster, creature, there's usually some type of backstory to it. Like in our previous episode this season, where AI chose our topic, we talked about the Wendigo and how it was basically created to warn children not to stray from their families and to kind of create a community of closeness. This professor says, and I quote, "The Headless Horseman, as a supernatural entity, represents a past that never dies, but always haunts the living." This article continued on to say that the Headless Horseman seeks revenge and a head, which he thinks was unfairly taken from him. This quote-unquote injustice demands that he continues to search for a substitute. The horseman, like the past, still seeks answers, still seeks retribution, and can't rest. We are haunted by the past, which stalks us, so we never forget it. I feel like that's just such a deeper meaning to the Headless Horseman. We see him as literally usually a rider riding some type of horse. It's usually a black horse or darker colored horse. And he usually has no head, or he's just holding it in his hand. And we've seen it. Disney's done the Horseman. Pretty sure. I think it's actually called The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I'll have to have editing Meg comment that. We've seen him in countless movies. Scooby-Doo has definitely had the Headless Horseman. Books have had him. So Disney has, and I quote, it is called The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, which is a movie from 1949. And then Scooby-Doo does have a Headless Horseman episode, and it's apparently from season 1, episode 5. He's just so popular, but do you think I stopped there? No. I found another website called woodlandhorsecenter.net, and this actually gave legends from the United States of America, Germany, Ireland, and India, because like we said, the Headless Horseman has been around for a while. So to start off, United States of America, this website also gave The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. And this one's a little different. This one said the original myth is the spirit of a German soldier who was killed during the Battle of the White Plains in 1776. He left his head on the battlefield. He was buried in Sleepy Hollow and appears on Halloween night to avenge his death and reclaim his head. Correction, because I am dumb. There is nothing different here. A Hessian soldier and a German soldier are the same, so there's no difference here. In Germany, there's the Grimm brothers, and there's also other legends that say the Headless Horseman is actually not an aggressive spirit. He's associated with the sound of a hunting horn, which either announces his presence or it warns riders to not go out the next day because they will be destined to die. So he's like a warning one in Germany. He's so helpful. He's like, hey, maybe you should stay inside, read a book, have a cup of tea. In Ireland, this is probably the most sinister version, and this website agrees with me. The Headless Horseman is known as the Dulashan, and he is a demon that rides a black horse and carries its head either under his thighs or he holds it up high to see a greater distance. Sometimes this demon is also seen as a headless driver on a carriage. Either way, however you see this creature, monster, demon, when the Dulashan stops, it calls out a name and that person immediately dies. That is insane. Imagine just being like out and about and he just goes, you. And then like, oh, there you go. In India, the Headless Horseman is actually seen as a heroic and benevolent spirit. I don't even know what that means. So we're going to look this up now instead of having editing Meg come in. It just means well-meaning and kindly. How do I pronounce it? I can't tell because it didn't go. Anyways, I'm 1000% going to butcher this and I am so sorry. But it is called a Jinjar. It's Jinjha with like a line above it and then an R. There are multiple stories on who this Headless Horseman is. It also comes from a very specific area in India too, but I didn't write it down because I knew I was going to butcher it and I didn't want to be disrespectful for butchering it. But most stories say that it was a prince that lost his head defending a village or fighting highwaymen. Other people say it's a cavalry rider defending his prince. Either way, they are the result of a wrongful death, and it is said that these spirits protect innocent people and are rumored to fight mounted or unmounted. They may be repelled with powdered indigo dye, which disrupts their chaotic energy and allows them to find peace. Which, I didn't understand that. Like, if they're good spirits that are, like, protecting innocent people, why would you want to get rid of them? But yeah, what about you? Did you know these stories about the Headless Horseman? I think I've heard of a couple of them, especially because we did this podcast before on monsters, and I'm pretty sure he was like number 10 on the list. But what about you? Do you believe in the Headless Horseman? Have you seen the Headless Horseman? Do you like him? Let me know. So the next time Halloween rolls around and you hear the tales of the Headless Horseman, just know he's been here since the Middle Ages. He's definitely not going anywhere anytime soon, and people will continue to use him and adapt him to current society. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Hey Guys, It's Meg. You can follow Hey Guys, It's Meg _podcast on Instagram for updates and good times. Come back next Monday for another Spooktober episode where we're going to talk about the history of jack-o'-lanterns. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace out, Girl Scouts.